Golden State Media Concepts social media podcast. Time to hashtag everything. We talk about all the fun, crazy stories on social media. From Instagram to Facebook, Twitter to Tumblr, or probably even Friendster. Join us each week as we explore the quirky side of social media. It's the Golden State Media Concepts social media podcast.
It's simple, such a sad song. The one that we rely on to get us.
Hello and welcome to the GSMC Social Media News Podcast, brought to you by GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Staci.
I'm your co-host, Sarah.
And today our first story is not even in this country, but I think it's interesting and the responses were actually pretty awesome, which is that Ryan Reynolds was in Korea promoting Deadpool 2 when he went on to a Korean singing show.
Yes.
Now this makes me... I want to be in a big blockbuster movie just so I can be sent to foreign countries to appear on strange foreign TV shows. That actually sounds really fun. How do I get that job? I don't even care if I'm actually in the movie. Just send me to the foreign countries for the foreign TV shows, please, somebody. But anyway, so this singing show I've actually heard of. It's called King of Masked Singer, which is where celebrities, they tend to go head to head wearing masks, so you can't tell who they are, singing songs. So the idea is you just have to pay attention to the singing, and it's sort of a way for, I think a lot of like K-pop people have gone it to sort of vindicate that, yes, I actually can sing, despite what you think of pop singers. Ryan Reynolds went on because he's evidently just being Deadpool in real life. That seemed to be the general consensus amongst people, is that he's very slowly becoming just Deadpool in real life.
Okay, I haven't seen Deadpool, and I've heard various things about it, but Deadpool does not seem like someone who would go on a Korean singing show.
He actually kind of does at times.
I mean, like I said, I haven't seen it, so I know nothing about it.
So I haven't seen the first one. I did recently see the second one, and reverence is clearly overrated because he's not reverent about anything in it. But then B, at times when you think he would totally be like a snarky smart mouth, he's actually, so the one time where he meets one of the girl who has this really sweet girlfriend, and so every time she says hi Wade, he's like, hi Yukio, in that sort of cute voice, and he totally would, because it would seem sort of, not what you'd expect from him, and that seems to be a big thing Deadpool likes to do, is just like rules, whatever. So that actually makes perfect sense to me that Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool would go on to this singing show, because you totally wouldn't expect it.
Okay.
Like, what? And he was wearing his character. They give them the character's name based off their mask. He was wearing a unicorn mask.
Oh.
So his character was Unicorn. He sang Tomorrow from Annie, which is in Deadpool 2. So I think it has to do with that.
Okay.
But it's continuing that whole like.
Can he sing?
He wasn't bad.
Because I saw this, and I went to click on it the other day when I saw it, and then I don't remember what happened because I didn't click on it, and so I don't know what distracted me, but something.
I went to do this thing, and then I don't know what happened because I totally didn't do this thing.
I didn't do the thing.
That sounds like half my life.
Yeah.
But yeah, he actually wasn't bad. It is a Korean singing show, so of course the judges and audience all expected the person under the mask to be Korean. So there was a lot of like, oh, his pronunciation of English is really good. It's like, well, yes, of course it is.
That would make sense, yes.
And then he pulled off the mask to reveal, it's actually Ryan Reynolds. And people were just like, what? What? Oh my God. And then people on social media were also just like, what? Is this life? Where are we right now? There were a lot of people who, if you tend to watch King of Masked Singer, if you're a fan of that, there were a lot of people who were like, this is like two of my fandoms meeting in the best and yet also strangest way possible.
Right.
It's just like, I think for a lot of people, if you're fans of both, it kind of might have felt like you were dreaming. Like, this is one of those strange dreams where you also can walk on the ceiling and reality has no basis in this. And Ryan Reynolds is on a Korean singing show. I must not be awake yet. Hold on, we'll get there.
Interesting.
But yeah, there was a lot of sort of befuddled, but cool, but what the heck
Right.
responses to it. Because it is sort of random. And again, I don't know what the whole press tour junket plan is for A, Deadpool 2, but B, just blockbuster movies in general. Again,
Right.
somebody let me in on this. I need to know. But are they all like every country? And I mean, especially for Deadpool 2, you got to imagine would be like, what is the most random shows we could go on in each of these countries to promote this movie? What is the one thing you would totally not expect the really potty mouth, killer to go on? Let's do that. And so I was like, hey, how about if you go on a singing show and sing Annie with a
unicorn and a cape, and a unicorn mask and a cape.
Yeah, I don't know who came up with this idea. I like it. It's really just, it's very out there. I don't quite know what to say about it. It's just, when I first heard it, I was just like, what? No, he didn't. No, I felt it was a joke, like a practical joke that we were just making up because you could say anything about Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. Mm-hmm. And the crazier it is, the more likely people will believe it because you have to really go out there. So I was like, this is a joke. Someone's just putting like random words together with Deadpool and making news stories up. But no, he went on. Wasn't bad. He lost because he's not a professional singer, and I don't know if he had actually like wanted to go on if they would have been able to, because it's like, yeah, you have to go to 12 more countries after this. We have to go. We can't be here next week for the next episode. But yeah. So
it's interesting. I'm currently watching the video without sound, and the people that they're guessing that he is.
Yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal, a couple other people that and they like put up little graphics of them behind him, and
I always wonder for shows like that where you have like a celebrity panel who pretends they don't know. It's like, do you really not know? Did you all like already meet him before you shot the show, and then we have to go out and pretend we don't know who he is and act super shocked when the mask comes off? Like, how much of this is you really had no clue, and how much of this is we're pretending to be surprised?
Right.
Because I know the audience had no clue, and the people on Twitter like really had no clue. Like, someone wrote, I am cackling and baffled and kind of impressed, but mostly baffled. And I'm just like, yeah. No,
that's kind of how you felt,
right? It's like, that is a legitimate response right now. Like, all sort of the whole spectrum of possible responses. This is great, but also this is weird.
Okay, that one guy just guessed that he was President Trump, which made me laugh a lot.
I see, again, it's that level of this can't be reality, because now that sounds about as equally likely before you knew this had happened to bet on. It's like Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool would go on the show, President Trump would go on the show. Yeah, those are both likely not to happen ever. So yeah, I'll put money on that. It's just he's definitely playing up the sort of, I don't know, character, I guess you say, of Deadpool, to the point where it's like, how much of this is Deadpool? How much of this was in the script? How much of this is just actually Ryan Reynolds being Ryan Reynolds? I don't know.
But good for him for, willing to be silly and go with it, I guess.
I mean, can you be serious in Deadpool?
I have no idea.
What would be... yeah, I've seen it, and we'll talk about it on a future episode of the movie podcast, but I don't know that serious and Deadpool can exist in the same universe. Those are like polar opposites almost.
Which is very interesting, because as someone who hasn't seen it from just the previews, it just looks so dreary. Like, I never would have guessed.
Really?
Yes. It just looks... Yes. It doesn't look funny to me whatsoever. So hearing that, I'm like, maybe I should actually check it out, because...
What previews did you see?
I don't know. Ones that made him look like he was brooding and dreary and just killed people.
Oh, okay, because see, like, the ones I all saw were him having the argument with Domino about whether or not luck is a power. And they're like, yes, it is. No, it isn't. It's like, let's just meet in the middle and say, no, it isn't. It's like, I saw those ones with the sort of sarcasm, snarky wit previews. So I was like,
I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go and look again. And
look up the more snarky Deadpool things.
Yes, that's what I'll type in: snarky Deadpool.
And the musical ones, evidently, because I kind of am now thinking of Deadpool the musical. now that he's been on this show.
Somebody would do it.
Oh, I mean, he would do that. But it's that level of not reality that I'm both picturing it and can't picture it at the same time. Those sound like that shouldn't be possible together. But yeah, wow. Again, mostly baffled by this story. It's that level of strange. So we're going to take a short break while I try and get my grasp of reality back from whatever netherworld it's been sent to. So stay tuned.
Always on the go, but the day just won't be one without your Hollywood fix. Let Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast take care of that. An all-inclusive look of pop culture.
Welcome back to the GSMC Social Media News Podcast. Our second story, musically related, but also not musically related, and possibly even more bizarre. It's, as you probably have heard of, the Yanny Laurel thing.
Yes.
I don't know. I think I must have been in school when the dress thing came out. And when I was in school, I was very much not paying attention to anything that wasn't school. Because college was that level of intense for me. So, I didn't know anything that was happening out in the world for, weeks. It was only, Christmas and summer break when I finally caught up with a lot of things. So
right.
I missed the whole ridiculousness about the dress. It's a black or blue or white or gold.
Right.
I didn't see it till later.
Black or blue was what I kept
really
seeing,
was,
but,
yeah.
I mean, I don't...
Yeah, in the
Not
original
gonna argue
picture,
with
I
other
could
people.
tell that it was overexposed, but then they later made a whiter gold because of all that craziness.
Sure.
So, and then the whiter gold looked nice for a wedding dress. If you're I don't want to spend a ridiculous amount of money on a dress I'm gonna only wear once. That was a nice looking wedding dress when they made it. But the fact that became such a huge topic over whether this is blue or gold or white. I mean, blue and black or white or gold.
We clearly have too much time on our hands as a society.
And it's we have to prove that was not a, one-hit wonder of too much time ever on our hands. So now let's do Yanny and Laurel. So if you somehow have managed to not hear about this whole thing, there is a clip going around where people cannot agree on whether or not the clip is saying Yanny or Laurel.
What do you hear?
Yanny.
Because I hear Yerry.
You would just have to be completely different.
I know.
I hear neither.
And I was like, I hear Yerry. And then I just gave up because I'm I'm not going to sit here for the next 10 minutes replaying this clip.
Well, when I first heard it, when I first just read it without hearing the clip, I was like, how do you hear those two things? They don't sound anything alike.
Exactly.
And when I listened to the clip at first, I'm like, it's Yanny. Yanny. That's exactly what it sounds like to me. And I'm just like, how does anyone hear Laurel with this? And then I saw some of the videos where people started messing with the frequency of it and making it higher or lower. And then I could hear Laurel when they made it lower. And I'm like, whoa, assuming that you didn't mess with anything else in this thing except for the frequency, now I hear Laurel. But for other people, supposedly, one of the explanations I saw, because of course people tried to break this down scientifically, because this is totally what we should be spending our scientific brainwaves on.
Yes.
Is people, how do I explain this? So younger and or female people tend to hear Yanny and older people tend to hear Laurel. Although then, of course, a lot of people took to Twitter of I'm only 21 and I totally hear Laurel.
Right, of course.
But I totally buy that, it's not excuse. What am I trying to say?
That reasoning, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Or that explanation.
That explanation, yes, because when I was in high school, we watched a thing for some odd reason about remote controls, and the first TV remote controls were actually sound-based, and they used to drive dogs crazy. So they took it back to the lab to try and fix it, to make it a different pitch so it wouldn't bother dogs. And these are all older gentlemen who keep clicking this thing and don't hear anything. But they've got this young woman in the lab as a lab assistant. And every time they click it, she jumps. And finally she's like, if you guys don't stop that, I'm going to have to quit, because she can hear it and they can't. And I did that in school too. And when I was in high school, I think there was actually an app that went around to make your cell phone ringer a really high pitched thing, because of course the teachers being old wouldn't be able to hear hear it.
Jeez.
So you could have your cell phone ring in class. And I was like, yeah, I could actually hear higher things like that. So I hear Yanny almost all the time until it's brought down to Laurel. But even when the videos of them messing with the frequencies went around, people who heard Yanny were more likely to then be able to hear both. But people who heard Laurel, even when you changed the pitch, still tended to only hear Laurel. And I'm just like, what? Really? Because I hear Yanny to begin with. You don't hear Yanny when it gets really?
So it is kind of interesting that it is kind of an interesting thing in terms of the science and the frequencies and those sorts of things, but it just cracks me up how we just get obsessed with things like this, and we argue. I mean, I was on Twitter the other day, and people were just their tweets were just the one word, Yanny. Laurel. That was before I actually saw anything else, and so I was like, what the heck are these people talking about?
Well, and for the tweets I've seen, the Laurel people somehow feel much stronger. It's like it's Laurel, and anyone who says otherwise is not my friend.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm just like, okay, I hear Yanny.
Will you still be my friend even though I hear Yerry?
I mean, I might have to think about that. You hear neither of the two things. Although there were some people who, when they started messing with the frequency, could then hear both. So then it sounded like Laurel or something to them. So you're maybe close, sort of. No, I still don't know where you get Yerry from. But
I don't know.
Just the idea that, like the dress, it's almost amazing how popular things that you don't mean to be popular become. Because this was evidently from a clip that was on some online dictionary of how do you pronounce Laurel. So it's actually a clip for this is how you pronounce Laurel. And someone managed to hear this and was like, what are you talking about? That says Yanny.
Oh,
did you put the wrong clip on this word? Like, what do you mean? That's not Laurel at all. And then the person was like, that's totally Laurel. What do you mean? And so put it out. But just the idea that this was not planned. Like, you could not get this amount of, buzz if you tried. It was just a random, I saw this random thing and I hear this and my friend hears this and what do you think? And it just took over.
Yes, it did. And then we have to argue about it because that's what we do. And that's what a social media was created, to argue.
Yeah, because we don't get that enough in life. But the best parts I love is all the people who then referenced Yanny, the musician.
Right.
And actually, there was a thing someone put in about the search sort of history of Yanny and how it completely spiked when this whole Yanny Laurel thing went out. And Yanny, by the way, the musician, is spelled with an I, not a second Y. But he then took to social media and played it and was like, it's Yanny. I was like, well, of course you would say that.
This is the most press Yanny's gotten in years.
Right. That's what a lot of people were saying. And then other people were like, man, he should really capitalize on this and like release a song named Laurel.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm like, actually, yes. That's, you know what?
That's not a bad idea. Yeah.
That is.
Weren't there already some conspiracy theories though that were saying that he was behind it somehow or
right.
something?
Yeah. So like, different people were tweeting out things like, watch, in like a week's time, he's going to release an album called Laurel or something. It's just like, I mean, devious, but also probably not. But maybe brilliant evil plan here?
Something.
I don't
But
know.
how, it would be a big leap of faith in that, because not everything goes viral,
right?
And so it could have just not done anything. So
right.
I don't think it's the best method to take in terms of, hey, let's do this because it might go viral and promote your new album.
But then that would be classical evil plans, because evil plans don't usually make sense.
That's true.
And or you have to feel the need to like monologue about them and tell the hero before you kill them all your evil
That's
plans.
True, yes.
Because that could not possibly ever go wrong. So by all means, take this, ridiculous thing that shouldn't have gone viral for any reason whatsoever, except we all like arguing with each other. I don't know why this is viral. I'm still confused on why this is viral. But yeah, I hear Yanny until it's messed with the frequency, and then I can hear Laurel. So
I've only listened to it once. I heard Yerry. I'll go listen to it again. We'll see what happens.
There may be something amazingly wrong with Sarah's hearing.
That could be, although I've always had good hearing. But
like I took it as not even so much about my hearing. I took it as a, oh, thank goodness I'm still young sign. Because I could hear Yanny, and that's in the higher frequencies, and only younger people can. I was like, oh, thank goodness I'm not old.
You know what
I
I'm
hear
going
Yanny.
to say? I'm not old yet. I'm going to say that I've been having allergies and sinus issues, and my ears are all plugged up. That's my reasoning. That's my story, and I'm going to stick with it.
For Jerry.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. I'm not old. I have allergies.
But, we did a whole scientific exploration. What is it again? Explanation. Words that begin with EX. Yanny or Laurel. Yeah, we did a whole scientific thing. There's science that backs this up. Will science back up your sinus story?
Yes.
Yes.
Because I say so. And that's I don't know. I mean, I can have a hypothesis, right? And then
you go out
the scientific
and test it.
method.
Well, then that means we might have to subject you to more Yanny Laurel testing.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going to have to go listen to it again and see if I hear anything else besides Jerry.
All right. So we're going to take a short break and see if Sarah's hearing is better or if she's maybe inadvertently old. So stay tuned.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back to the GSMC Social Media News Podcast. Sarah is now sticking with Yerry.
Yep.
Middle of the ground there, sort of.
Well, yeah, the first time I heard Jerry, but this time I heard Yerry consistently. So I'm not the only one, but I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know either. So our final story today
is gross.
Yep. Yeah. I almost wish there was a way we could go back to Yanny Laurel. So a woman at Tim Hortons, which I didn't even know what Tim Hortons was because I don't think we have that in this country, do we?
I don't believe so. It's Canadian coffee.
Yeah. Tim Hortons is a Canadian restaurant. A woman
they are very
at a Tim Hortons wanted to use the bathroom, and the employees at the restaurant would not let her, and so she decided to take a poop right there and then throw it at them.
Yeah, she not only pooped there where she was standing,
right.
She then had to channel her inner monkey in the zoo and throw it.
Well, and then she wiped herself and then threw the napkin, and I'm just like, oh, gross. Oh my God. And what throws me off with this video is everyone else in the restaurant is still sort of calm. It's like, okay, I guess she's doing this behind a wall, but can you really not tell what's going on right now? Like, what?
Yeah.
Just gross. That's all sorts of levels of, enraged.
First off, I'm not overly modest, but I just don't picture myself whipping my pants down in a public place yeah.
Even when the one time I went camping and had to poop in the woods, it was just I made triple sure no one was near me when I did that.
Right.
Stop and listen for a whole minute to make sure I don't hear anyone coming near me to accidentally come upon me while that's happening. It's you just pulled your pants down in a restaurant with people.
Yeah.
Okay. What?
And this kind of goes against what we always say about Canadians, that they're so polite.
Right.
where maybe she's not Canadian. I don't know.
Oh, maybe.
She's definitely angry.
Yes. But so she was not allowed to use the bathroom because I guess they've had problems with her before.
Oh God, that's disgusting.
And so they were just like, no, we already know you're a troublemaker. We're not going to let you in. And she was, pissed off enough about that to, yeah.
I think my favorite part is the fact that after she poops, she doesn't pull her pants back up. She just runs around a little bit with her pants around her knees.
Yeah. And then the cops were called and the cops came and the cops also have had run-ins with this woman.
Can we get this woman some mental health maybe?
Right?
I don't know if you can involuntarily commit her, but she seems to need something.
I mean, maybe along the grounds of she's a public health risk if she goes around throwing her poop at people.
Yeah.
So if she does this again, then maybe, I don't know. I don't know the whole laws about that. But it's just sort of super gross. But just the idea that, and I mean, now we've got cameras everywhere, so you totally can catch these things on camera. Mm-hmm. But the idea that, is anything really worth that you would poop in public and then throw it at people and in a food place?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, okay, so they don't let you use the bathroom. That sucks. Maybe she really, really, really had to go, but there was no other place to try.
Right?
I mean...
Or even if that's the case, you don't have to throw it at people.
Well, yeah.
And they're definitely not going to let you use the bathroom now.
Well, no one's going to let you use the bathroom now.
I'm actually kind of amazed at the employee in that video because he's on the phone, I assume, with the police as she starts to do this. But he comes up, I guess, to sort of stop her. But he seems sort of calm about it. And I'd be kind of frantic, oh my God, what are you doing? No, don't do that.
I think I'd be screaming, what are you doing?
What the heck? And then he's off camera when she throws it. So I really hope he didn't get hit. But just the people, I'm super shocked by the other, I want to say other customers, but she's not a customer. The other people who were sitting in the restaurant already who are just watching this craziness, but then don't do anything.
Yeah, it's awfully. It is good that she's behind that wall, so maybe you're
not sure what's going on,
right? Or you had limited visibility, and hopefully because of the wall and where it is with the counter, maybe people weren't sitting close. Because I'm just thinking, okay, you're eating, you're having a lovely day, and then suddenly this smell, even if you didn't see it,
yeah,
dear God, ew.
I mean, there were a lot of people who were just yeah, I don't know if I want to go to Tim Hortons, or I don't know if I want to go to that Tim Hortons, that specific location, which I feel bad for, the people at that Tim Hortons because this isn't their fault.
Well, yeah, and it's sad because you had never heard of Tim Hortons. I have heard of Tim Hortons, so now people are going to
associate that with Tim Hortons.
Yeah, if they'd never heard of it, now they're going to have heard of it and be like, oh, that's where that lady crapped on the floor, or
right.
Ugh.
So to be fair to Tim Hortons, this is only a specific Tim Hortons,
right?
in I believe it's Langley, which
British
I think
Columbia.
is yeah. So all the Tim Hortons in other places in Canada are presumably not affected.
Probably not. I mean, if this is happening at Tim Hortons across Canada, then we should definitely be worried. But I can't imagine it's anything but an isolated incident.
Well, now I'm oh, thank you for that image. I'm now thinking of an organized protest of poop flinging or...
Okay, synchronize your watches at 10:15 tomorrow morning.
God. Well, no, what was it? I think this was on John Oliver where they were talking about this, where people were making, I forget what country, protesters were making Poopatov cocktails.
Which is the flaming poop that you put on somebody's step, I'm thinking. I'm assuming.
I'm not sure. I'm actually not... Oh, I don't know if they're lit on fire or not, but they poop in jars and then throw them at whoever they're protesting against.
Molotov cocktails you usually light on fire and then throw. So, oh my goodness.
I mean, if you've got, for the protesters, if you've got nothing else, that's obviously some sort of weapon. So now I wonder, can the woman be charged on weapons charges? what assault with a...
Oh, it could be a deadly weapon, considering if you have something horrible that you're spreading around. Oh God, it's so disgusting.
Right, my head not even hurts. It's just you've gone off in very strange, twisty, dark places I never wanted you to go.
Thanks to the power of the internet and video cameras and everything else, we all know about it.
Yeah, if I have to suffer, you all have to suffer too. I don't even know what our world is coming to.
This shouldn't just be in my head that the person with who was watching the security footage said, I'm putting this on the internet.
Yeah, actually, no. Now I wonder how it got put on the internet, because it's from clearly the Tim Hortons video camera. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like on a cell phone or anything. So this had to be either a Tim Hortons employee or someone from the police department, or would this be part of the freedom of the press, right to information sort of thing? Like, this was a case and we, the press, have to report about it. So we should be able to see that videotape.
I'm thinking it's just,
why should we?
I don't know this, but I'm thinking if I'm the security guy, I'm like that. This can't just be on my head. I'm putting this on YouTube.
Share the, I don't even know what to call that. Share the,
it's not the love.
No, it's most definitely, yeah. Share the, I want to go home and take a shower, hot scalding shower with a lot of soap. Love, feeling, whatever. On that super, super gross note, I apologize.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. We'll try to make it a little less gross next time.
Yeah. So please tune in next time to the GSMC Social Media News Podcast.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Social Media Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.